So it's been a while. Been really intensely writing the next book, and I may bring up a few things about that here and there. But the workbook came out a week or so ago, and I'll be doing some summaries and some videos, share some exercises over the next few weeks with that. But today, what I want to focus on is how much what it means to be human has changed in a very short time. And our entire human experience is just so radically different than it used to be, and we rarely ever are conscious of this. So just take something like reading and writing. So 200 years ago, about 15% of the world could read or write. Now, 15% of the world cannot read or write. And that's such a transformation in such a short time. But what I want to focus on in this video is the Pirahã tribe, actually pronounced Pirahã, but Pirahã looks how it would read to a Westerner. And so Dan Everett spent about 30 years on and off with this tribe, and they're really a look at what it meant to be human in our distant past and how radically things have changed and how rare it is for us to really consider this. So let me share a few stories. So this tribe, for most of us in the West, we say good night or sweet dreams, but for this tribe, they say don't sleep. There are snakes. It'd be a strange thing to say to your kid before they went to sleep. And Dan shares a really horrible story about when his wife and he took his whole family, his wife and young kids, and one of his kids was only like 1 year old when they went in the middle of the jungle and totally cut off. And they didn't even have a radio communication. And his wife and his kid got a really bad case of malaria. And Dan's desperately trying to reach medical attention. And he's trying to get a boat. And he eventually gets this boat. And the tribes are saying, very, very, casually saying, well, bring us back some matches if you find some help. And that irritated him. And then he's going down the river and he finds, different encounters, and everyone just trivializes what's happening to him. And at first he thought, well, these people from Brazil, they're just cold people. And then he realized that no, this is just their life. This is just another day for them. They deal with this kind of thing all the time. It's only the Westerner who just has this expectation that they'll get medical help, or this expectation of living these life expectancies that we have. But a couple other things I found interesting is they let their kids, very, very young kids, just play with knives. This is something that would just, we wrap our kids up in bubble wrap and they just let their kids play with knives. And if the kids do cut themselves, they actually yell at them. They act, you're like in trouble. And it's just so difficult for us to consider. And one other story is someone was stopped in the village and they were going to sell alcohol to the tribe, and this was actually against the law, and that's what Dan said. He's like, you're not really allowed to do this, and that upset this guy, and he ended up getting the whole village drunk anyway. But then the Pirahã, they were super upset with Dan because he was telling this guy not to sell him alcohol, and they wanted their alcohol. And it really got out of hand to where they were going to kill him and his family. And it's a really traumatic situation. But the weird thing about the story is how it ended. It's like the next day, the Pirahã just were like, yeah, sorry, we're going to kill you and your family. We didn't mean it. We just get weird when we're drunk, and we just won't do it again. And Dan sort of accepted that. He said, okay. Now, after telling you all these different stories, the main point of the video is the absolute thing that captures people's attention when they first visit the Pirahã is that they're the happiest people on the planet. They're continuously smiling. They're continuously laughing, even in the face of adversity. So they can take hours and hours and build one of their little huts, and a huge wind can come and blow the hut away, and they'll actually still be laughing. And so it sets itself up as a very strange contrast with our modern life, because there's no doubt they suffered more in the physical world than we do with all these comforts. But we suffer more, as Seneca put it, we suffer far more in our imagination.